here is the actual truth of it. You are probably going to quit game dev. And here's the reason why it's okay. After the intro. All right, welcome back, everybody. It is so cool to see you. I'm so glad to be able to get in front of a camera and talk to you. All right, here's the thing. If you are an ADHDer, you are going to cycle, and you are going to cycle hard. You know that about yourself, don't you? So it's this thing where we have like a bajillion different hobbies going on, and we cycle through them a lot. I talked about that in the other video, and how it can actually click together and everything actually start working together, and that's really cool when it does. But the other thing that we're going to do is to get like just crazy obsessive about something for a while, and it might be game dev. But what I find is that when I bounce, and I do bounce, oh, where's my 3D printer? There it is. I feel bad when an expensive piece of equipment has dust on it. But when I bounce off of it, I find that there are some core fixed hobbies, some things that I come back to over and over again. So the question for you is, and I would love it if you would just be honest with yourself, okay? Because when I say you're probably going to quit, some of you go, no, never! And some of you go, whop, whop, whop. Oh yeah, I know, you got me, I'm terrible. And it's not a judgment call. It's not a judgment call, okay? That's the important thing, is to know that it's not a judgment call. The honest question for you is this a central one? Is this a central one that you're going to come back to? It's okay if it's not. It is okay if it's not. But if it is one that tends to be an anchoring point for you, it's wonderful to continue working on it. I will say that hobbies like game dev can be a difficult one to bounce off of. That's a tough one to bounce off of. Okay, there's a couple sides to it. One is that it is a gauntlet. It's hard to work through it if your brain's not really in it. You need the satisfaction of creating stuff, and it's tough to learn, and it's tough to get good at it, and you feel like there's a ton to learn, and you're never going to get through all of it. So on my channel, I talk about this kind of thing all the time, but I'll try to give you a quick TLDR here, is that you can't possibly know everything, and it's okay to just work on what you know and to do what you know. It's okay to make games in the space that works for you. It's okay to take a win, okay? It is okay to just accomplish something, and also you don't have to fully 100% complete every project that you start. So I think that it's important to start out by being nice to yourself and to realize that this is a deep, complicated, intense kind of a hobby, and if you want to get into it more seriously and you hope to make some money off of it or anything like that, then it's going to be even more intense. So it is something that's kind of easy to it's easy to reject. It's easy to get pushback from. What happens on the other side of it is the other side of that coin. The part two of that is that while it is easy for it to push you out and to knock you away and to knock you down, it can be difficult to get back into the swing, because game dev requires a lot of intense focus and for you to kind of hold a bunch of stuff in your mind simultaneously. And it can be really, really hard for you to remember some of the little details of the engine and of the game that you were working on, and you can lose focus, you can lose enthusiasm for the project you were working on, and then after you get bounced away because you hit something that was difficult and it knocked you back, you could come back to it and then say, "Ooh, where was I?" And that's okay too. That can be tough. What I find, if giving you, we're doing mini advice today. Didn't plan on it. The mini advice that I have there is to keep good notes for yourself as you're going along, and I annotate my code all the time so I know it's up. I also try to have good structure in what I'm putting together so that things just make sense. You know, if you've got spaghetti code and you've got random pieces that don't make sense, it's harder to get back into it. But I do find that the better I get at game development and the more organized my systems are, the easier it is to get back into it. And having some notes on it makes it easier to get back into it. Point being, when you're structuring your life around the version of you that is all in and is never going to quit, it makes it really hard for the version of you to come back to it who's been away from it for a few months. So when I say to you, you will probably quit game dev, that is supposed to actually have a secret encouragement in it. That's supposed to have a secret encouragement in it to let you know that, first of all, that's okay. This is not a judgment on you. All right? It is not. Somebody needs to hear that again, don't they? Just because you quit doing game dev permanently or for a while, that is not a personal indictment against you. It doesn't mean you're a bad person or that you can't hack it or anything. That's okay. You can't be into everything. And you have an exciting mind. You have a mind that is craving novelty and is craving new experiences all the time. You can't go out there and experience all the things that your mind wants you to experience if you stay obsessed and stay stuck on something. And that includes game dev. It might be that your mind wants you to go and have some new experiences. That might be okay. You might find your next thing is more physical and tactile. You might really love pottery and painting. You might be the person who says, I didn't know how much I would love cooking and never saw myself as a cooking person. Or that gardening is suddenly my thing. And it turns out that gardening and cooking go hand in hand. And I love the fact that those two coalesce. It's exciting. And it can be so valuable to try different things. If you obsess on just one thing and you get stuck on just game dev, what are you going to have for creative energy to pour into that? You might, to keep using the examples, you might find yourself loving gardening and cooking. And the next thing you know, you find that those interests are actually great to express in a video game. Or you might find that you really love animating, or you might love writing stories. There's no telling what you might be excited about. And so I think it's important not to judge yourself too harshly when you do bounce off things that are difficult. Game dev can be intense and it can be difficult. I find that it rewards intensity. It rewards intensity. But it is also possible for us to get really, really intense and then burn out on that. Okay, we can get so intense that we burn right out because we went too hard on it. That's how we go. We're just all in or all out. And we tend to whoop, 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 right? And it's okay. So if I can give you some advice, it's first of all to be nice to yourself about it. Second of all, it would be to plan for it and to set yourself up for success when you do come back to it. So that you should scope your projects in such a way that you can complete them in shorter sprints. So if you have a project that is the kind of thing that you can complete in a week, that's not going to be something that you're going to bounce against so hard. It's not going to push you back so hard. If it's a project that you can turn around in a week, you can have a success and a win. And if you do bounce off of game dev and you go off to spin off into something else, at least you finished something and it was fun. Or at least you have a toy that you made that was neat. You have to set your standards for yourself about how far you intend to go. It doesn't mean you have to make a lifelong commitment and put a ring on its finger. It doesn't mean that you have to make it your new career, even though for a hot minute you probably thought it was going to be. And I don't know how far I'm going to go, but I do know that for me, game dev is one of the central markers for me. I wish I had a better word for you. Do you have a cool word for this? A fixed point that I've been talking around here. It's one of those things that I come back to all the time. 3D printing and 3D modeling and stuff. I do it off and on. I got a lot of Legos in my office. Do you see my Lego? No, those are Atari stuff. I got Atari and Nintendo stuff. I've got all these things that are always interests to me, but I don't have to go through the trouble of hooking them all up and playing all of the games. It could just be in the background and something that I love. But for me, when I get into game dev, it's something that I actually come back to repeatedly and work on over and over and over again. So for me, it is a central kind of a thing that I orbit around. Maybe that's a better analogy. So where is game dev for you? Is it a central thing that you orbit around, or is it something that you just more get into and out of? It's okay either way. It is okay either way. I would rather you be honest with yourself than to try to chase a dream that's not yours. Find out the dreams that you actually do care about and be more true to yourself. I think that's one of the things that has excited me so much, and one of the things that started to light me up, and I've been able to share it with other people, is that once you get into that state of honesty about who you are and what you actually care about, then that suddenly becomes something more meaningful and more long-lasting in your life than trying to fake it. I appreciate you being here. Thank you to everybody who has subscribed lately. A lot of people have come in the door, and it's really good to see you. My gratitude to those of you who were here building that all along. If you made it to the end of the video, I'm amazed. Be awesome today. We'll talk soon.